right, so we are live. Welcome everyone. I'm really excited for today because we are launching Libo and the Leopard, Keeper of the Stars. And this has just been such a fantastic project to work on, spearheaded by Panthera. And we were very lucky to be the publishing house bringing it to life, and we got to work with the most incredible creatives in bringing you a print book and audiobook. But before I get into it, I'd love everyone on this call to just do a brief intro of just who they are and how they're involved in this project. So Vian, can you start with Panthera?
Yes, I can do. Thank you very much. So my name's Vian Niemann. As mentioned, I work for Panthera as a CWC, or Counter Wildlife Crime Coordinator, for the Southern and East Africa region. So part of that includes demand reduction work, which is programs like First for Life. So that's kind of where I slot into the whole picture.
Thank you, Vian. And yeah, a little bit of background into First for Life. This is kind of what this whole book is based around, and they've created these incredible faux furs, basically to still maintain heritage within the communities and ceremonies, but also protecting leopards, because we want to protect leopards and keep them safe. Emily, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, yes. My name's Emily, and I'm a writer and an actor. And I'm the lucky human who got to write this story and live with Libo in my head for a while and go on this wild adventure through this book. So yeah, I'm very excited about this project.
Thank you. And Mary Ann, do you want to go for it?
Hi, I'm Marianne, and I am an illustrator and graphic designer, so I got to draw lots of leopards first, which is always fun.
Oh, great to draw. You go.
Hi, my name is Mdugoyama. I am the voice artist for this book, and I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you for joining us. And David, go for it.
My name is David. I did a whole lot of interesting sounds for the video. Really excited to be part of it.
Yeah, so what's been so special about this story is that, and this is what we at Imaginary House love about story, is that it can live beyond books, and it can live in different mediums. And I think also something that we really loved about this book is it lent into folktale and oral storytelling as well, and that's where we ventured into audio. And we will be listening to the book now, which I'm really excited about. And while you are listening, I want to encourage you to listen to the sounds and all the leopards and everything. Those sounds were made by David. So yes, even the leopard sound. We even asked him to make the sound of stars at one point, which I think he thought we were absolutely nuts. But we tried, A for effort. But I just encourage you to listen to the sound. And then something else that's really interesting, just for anyone listening and watching as we go through this, is that you'll see that some of the words don't line up with the audio. And that's what's so interesting about story and different mediums and different platforms, is that you bring them to life in different ways. And so the beautiful illustrations that Mary Ann does, often we are able to reduce text because it tells a lot of the text through her illustrations. And then there's certain things that do with the voiceover. It was really fantastic because he could emphasize certain parts, and because they weren't illustrations and the drawings, he had to express more of that and give a little bit more context. So we haven't made a mistake when you see some of the audio and that doesn't line up. It's very much intentional. And yeah, it was really exciting to produce this audiobook and just the book in general. And we thought we'd give you a combination of both of them. And also, I forgot to mention, if you are tuning in from LinkedIn, YouTube, or Instagram, you can comment and with some of your questions, and we are going to have a Q&A after this. So please feel free to comment. You're also welcome to compliment people. We welcome it all. But without further ado, we're going to start the reading of Libo and the Leopard, Keeper of the Stars.
Panthera brings you Libo and the Leopard, Keeper of the Stars. Written by Emily Child and voiced by Mdu Kweyama. I am Libo, and this is the story of how I helped a leopard and saved the stars. Where are you going, little one? My oldest brother Sikota asked, as he caught me sneaking past him in the dark. Nowhere, I squeaked like a baby tree squirrel. I was going to hunt a leopard. I wanted its skin to wear around my waist for Kuomboka. I was going to prove I was strong enough to be a royal peddler like my brother. I dreamed of being on the king's barge, but I didn't tell my brother that. Sikota grinned. Your toes are wiggling like guilty worms. He was right. And my eyes were as big as oranges. He winked at me and rolled over as I walked out into the night. My father often speaks of a time when the stars were so bright that you could see at night as if it were day. Now the stars shone weakly, just enough to find my way across the plains. What has changed? I wondered. After many hours walking, I needed rest. I sat under a tall palm tree. No leopards. My stomach was the only thing growling. A fiery-necked nightjar sang above me. I sang back. We were a bird and Lozy Boy band. My stomach joined in. I was very hungry. And then I heard a deep snore, like my father sleeping in the grass. A family of banded monkeys screeched and ran to hide behind me. I laughed at the monkeys and looked around. A great deka was grazing nearby. He flicked his eyelashes like feathers. It wasn't him. It sounded like something bigger and stronger. The sound got sharper and louder. I screeched this time and scattered behind the banded monkeys. I should be brave, not scared. But what was making that noise? It sounded like cutting wood with a saw. I decided to find where it was coming from. I tried to stand up, but my body was stiff, so I wobbled like an elder after too much beer. I looked around, up the palm tree, behind the rocks, in the grass. I walked like an old man, following the growling noise. As I walked closer to a waterberry tree, the sound got louder, very loud, like strong wind in my ears. I stopped and looked at the tree in the dim starlight. There was a dark shape next to the trunk. It looked like a rock. But then I heard the deep growling rasp. It was a leopard. its feet had been caught in a trap. He was angry and in pain. Even though he was lying on his side, I could see his shoulders were powerful, like heavy storm clouds. I can finally kill him and get the skin I want, I said to myself. I thought of the last Kumboka when I stood and watched my brother and father on the Nalekwanda pedal past. Next time, I would join them. The leopard turned his head. I could see his eyes, bright like fire. He stared at me, rasping still. I held my spear tight. This was my moment to get my leopard skin. I looked into his eyes. They glowed like flames. I could see the animal's brave spirit and wild power. I could hear his heartbeat. It sounded like the Maoma drums summoning the peddlers for Kumboka. His fur was thick and smooth, but his front leg was cut from the trap and covered in blood. He was bleeding into the soil. It didn't seem right. He was such a beautiful creature. How could I kill him? But if I didn't, would I ever be a peddler? The leopard closed his eyes for a moment. Suddenly, the sky started flickering. It was very strange. The stars looked like they were fading. What was happening? Every time the leopard hissed in pain, the sky got darker. Were my ancestors trying to send me a message? How could I kill such a powerful creature just to wear his fur around my waist? Every time a leopard dies, do the stars lose light? Is this why the brightness of the night sky has changed? Were the leopards the keepers of the stars? As the thought ran through my mind, I remembered my father speaking of a new way. Maybe he meant that to show great courage, I should keep this animal alive. That way, the sky would remain bright. If the sky went dark, how would my people see in the night? The Lozi are brave. I've seen the strength of my father, mother, and brothers. If I wanted to be a royal peddler, the bravest of all, I would need to breathe my fear deep into my stomach and do what was right. I leaned forward and used my spear to break the trap open and free the leopard's paw. I jumped back to give the animal space. With the strength of 20 peddlers, he leapt up and stood strong and wide. His muscles moved fast like flood water. I could still hear his heart beating like the Maoma drums. I stepped away from him to let him know he was free. He breathed in deeply and looked to the sky. The stars above us flashed, bright as the sun. It was as if they were smiling, thanking me for saving the mighty creature. Then, like a shadow, the leopard was gone. I couldn't believe what I had seen. I couldn't believe what I had done. I ran back home, wondering how I would look like a royal peddler now, but knowing in my heart that I had made the right decision. My mother screamed at me in anger. Libo! Could be heard across the plains. I should have told her where I was going. My brother Sekota smiled. The boy who left to hunt a leopard learned to save his life, he said. That is the journey of a royal peddler. It is not the skin of a dead leopard, but the symbol of a living leopard around your waist that shows honor and strength. If the stars and leopards are connected, every leopard we save protects our way of life, my father said. We must keep our nights bright and our paths clear. Then, my father wrapped a leopard skin around my waist, and I looked at him with a frown. I was confused now, but he just smiled at me and said, I've told you before of a new way, and this is it. A heritage fur bears every mark and beauty of the great leopard, but it is made without taking their life. This will help us rebuild the los's connection with animals and the wild that has been lost. My mother sang.
Libo upilisi zengwe, libo upilisi zengwe, mi akanyisa.
Years have passed, and I am now a peddler on the King's barge. During Gomboka, a heritage fair is proudly around my waist. Whenever I see a leopard, I show him respect and leave him in peace. Every time I hear the Mawoma drums at the start of the ceremony, I look to the sky and wink at the stars. I remember the night I saved a leopard and the sound of his wild heart beating. This book was developed and published by Imaginary House for Panthera to help raise awareness about the heritage furs to replace authentic leopard furs during cultural and religious ceremonies. To learn more about the heritage furs, visit heritagefurs.com. For this book and other stories, visit imaginaryhouse.com.
Yeah, so that's the book. Well done, everyone.
Woohoo, go and do.
Yeah, that was so much fun to record and also just work with Mary Ann on the illustrations, and there were lots of laughs in studio. I will never forget Mdu shouting, Libo! And I think we all jumped in our seat and got such a big fright. And yeah, we felt our moms like shouting at us. And it was a really fun experience. And yeah, I think I'm going to start off with some questions around the book. And please, if you are tuning in from anywhere, please send us your questions. We'll love to answer them. And yeah, I think something to just note, what I really liked about this project is that it wasn't this top-down approach of, especially with Panthera, and what I respect so much about Panthera and how they do their work is they work with communities, and it's not all their solutions, but actually working with communities and figuring out how to make solutions and how they can support them in doing this. Because I think often there is this thing of going into spaces and just going, this is how we do it, when there's no context. And I think that can be more detrimental than anything. So that's been really great, because part of this book, there was working with the Barotso Royal Establishment, which is essentially royalty within Zambia, which we felt very honored to just actually get sign-off from them on this book. And I think it was really great to actually have their round community projects where getting feedback on what people wanted. And I think heritage and conservation were important, but we didn't, it wasn't about just saying we just have to save leopards. It's about we need to save leopards and preserve heritage and culture. And I think that's what I really respect about the work that Panthera is doing. So I do want to just say thank you to Panthera, and also thank you for entrusting us in bringing this to life. So on that note, I've got some questions, and I'll start with you, Vian. Can you tell us a little bit, at the end of these questions, we're going to have a video explaining a little bit more about Furs for Life, but just a brief summary of what it is and what a heritage fur is, and how is it different from your normal leopard print materials that you get out there?
Yes, gladly. Thanks. Thanks very much. So as you mentioned, there will be some more explanation at the end, but essentially Furs for Life is an initiative powered by Panthera that aims to bring together innovation, tradition, and conservation to protect wildcats in Southern Africa. So a little bit of background to this is that across many communities, wildcat skins are worn as ceremonial regalia and has been worn in that way for a very long time, with the idea to symbolize power, courage, ancestral connection, and also cultural pride. But as we know, human populations are increasing, and as that happens, the pressure on wildcat populations are also increasing. And as such, numbers of wild cats, such as leopards, are declining. And then the use of real skins or authentic skins becomes unsustainable and a really direct threat to wildcat populations. So rather than challenging these traditions, Panthera then partnered with cultural leaders to create what we call heritage furs, which are essentially a very high quality synthetic alternative skin that carries all the same beauty and the same meaning as the real skins, but it's produced without having to harm any wild animals.
Thank you. And yeah, and we saw that with Libo and his bravery. It was definitely still very much there. And Emily, you captured that so beautifully in the story. So yeah, on to you. What was your approach to writing the story and to honoring heritage, but also I know that you went to Zambia as well. Like, what did you want to ensure that you captured in the story?
Well, firstly, the universe is a crazy thing because Lure Plains is a very special place for me and my husband. We've been there a few times and been lucky enough to camp there for a few weeks. I never thought I'd end up being lucky enough to write a story about the place. But what has stood out every time we've been there is just the vast beauty and pure wilderness and the kindness of the communities in the area and really the power of like traditional storytelling and the power of communities talking and the old-fashioned one person telling someone a story and that person being carried to the next village, which is carried to the next village, which is carried to the next village. And I really wanted to try and create a story that honored the traditions of the area. And I really wanted to incorporate the sounds of the landscape somehow, because when my husband and I would sit there at the campfire, it's quite overwhelming, just the chorus of life around you every day and every night. We had a little nightjar that used to sort of, you couldn't see him, but he was around us at the camp. We'd hear him every night. And I suppose my goal was to try and create an environment that readers and listeners can feel a part of, if they could feel enveloped by nature somehow for a moment, or feel that they're in that wild, crazy choir of creatures. It would make me very happy. Yeah, and I just wanted to honor the place, and I guess it's my little way of thanking the place for being such a special spot for me and my husband over the years.
I love that. I also love that you mentioned the nightjar, because Marianne, you probably hear nightjar and you're like, oh, because in the developing of this book, it was very important that we got the animals right to the region. And apparently there are multiple nightjars. Who knew? So I do want to apologize to you, Marianne, in that process of having to change the bird multiple times. But with that in mind, Marianne, can you explain a little bit about your process of bringing the illustrations to life and how you captured the real life but brought in that magical element?
Sure. Well, I think it was really important to make sure the images were like relevant and to the community. So there are lots of references sent through from Panthera, of the ceremonies in the area, and it's very important to get all the creatures that seem recognizable and the right one. So yes, so that was changing a bird up to be a nightjar, but they're quite fun to draw. They've got such crazy mouths. So I didn't mind that. But yeah. That's me. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, I do that often. But yeah, I really love that. Yeah, it was quite a fun, as you saw in the book, like Marianne's illustration beautiful. And I think what I loved about it is I'm probably going to insult you now, but it's not like a perfect drawing. There's a movement to your drawing. And I think that was really beautiful in how you captured the animals, and even the leopard, just how you captured that leopard. There's a sense of feeling behind it, it's really beautiful. And for anyone listening, Marianne, can you just explain the medium that you use to how you actually create these illustrations?
It all starts off hand drawn, so I just think you get so much feeling from hand drawn stuff. And again, not perfect, but that's kind of part of the specialness. So I use watercolor and ink and lots of layering and cleaning up and computer afterwards. But yeah, it all starts out hand drawn.
I love that. So if you are listening, get drawing if you want to and play, and you can have some fun in the space. And I know that from a publisher's perspective, we actually lean far more towards I think perfect's like a terrible word actually, because it sounds like I'm insulting you. I'm really not. But yeah, like moving away from the AI drawing, let's say that. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that now, but I think just that human element was super important to us, and I think that's what also lent into the audiobook and producing that, because that was so much fun. We got to work with incredible Mdu, who's just, his talent just oozes, and just really incredible. And you've done some amazing work, and I would love to hear what you thought of the story itself when you first read it, when we asked you to do the voiceover.
Yeah, so interesting. Emily, thank you very much for writing this. For me, I can't pick one particular thing in the book and say, oh, this is brilliant. I think the whole book is brilliant simply because it gives equal weight to African culture and nature. Nothing is important more than the other. Nothing is important more than the other. And for me, that is really, really important, because all African cultures, they go together with nature and culture. So for me, the whole book is important. When I read it and Emily explained, I was like, of course, I'd like to be part of this because of what it's saying. And I think young people needs this. Theater does that. I think young people, they relate to stuff like this, the cultural identity and awareness of environment. I think this book covers all of that, and young people definitely should see themselves through Libo. I guess that's the point, and then they can talk about it with their families and all of that. So I think this book is important.
I really love what you say there, and like the integration between the two, and it's nobody is more important, and it's just honoring of that, and I think that's really beautiful. And just for a little bit of background, because I'm reading this because I'm probably going to get it wrong, but Mdu is also an award-winning director and actor and choreographer, and he runs the Baxter Zabalaza Theatre Festival, which is about bringing African stories to life. And what I just think is just so beautiful is this project. There were just so many little things that like pieced together very naturally, and it was so nice to just see how it came to life in that way. And I think there's that mention of the African storytelling, and I think that was for us really big, because we didn't want to just write a story that just lives in one space. We wanted it to feel like something that can be like within oral storytelling, which is very strong within African culture. And I think that's where we also then wanted to make sure that the sounds weren't just the synthetic sounds that we captured. And that's where David, you came into the mix. Did you ever think that you'd be doing leopard sounds for an audiobook?
Yeah, to be honest, no, I never actually thought that I'd be doing something like this. Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky enough and fortunate enough to help out with some of Panthera's projects, and I really love what they're doing. Setting up camera traps and monitoring that side of things. And I've followed Leopard through the bush for many years, and just being able to be a part of this, and then take the inner clown and throw it outside and let it happen, to make a couple noises here and there and sounds, was really quite fun. Yeah.
Can you just briefly, for people that don't know, what is your background, Dave?
So my background is I've been working in the bush for over 20 years mainly as a guide, a professional trails guide, as well as a reserve manager. So I've really been up close and personal with some of these animals and leopards as well, particularly, to help them out. So yeah, that's kind of my background, living in the bush in the middle of nowhere, where I've got lots of times to make the noises and no one looks at me funny.
I love that. And are you like even if we wanted to find sounds of these birds, the very specific sounds, you cannot find them. And so it was really handy to have Dave that actually has the knowledge of what these birds, their sounds are, and he could create them. How did you discover that you could make interesting sounds? I'm intrigued.
It was probably from before I even knew I was making sounds. It was probably the first time that I could make some sounds where I don't feel my mom's hand coming around to pinch me because I'm making too many noises. So it started from really, really little, trying to mimic everything. And I think the first thing I tried to mimic was when my mom was making cookies, when you try and mimic the sound of the machine when it's, so it was probably the first time I kind of realized.
I also know that you've got a story from school days where your teacher, you mimicked the cell phone, which I love, where she ran out to go and answer the phone, and it was just you.
There's many perks to being able to make the noise, including getting my friends who are avid birders to get up around the campfire and go look for the birds that they couldn't find because they'd never heard that one before.
I love it. Just for those tuning in, would you be happy to make one or two of the sounds that you made? No pressure.
Yeah.
In the book.
Well, I can give it a go. I mean, I think the one that sticks out, is just because sticking to the leopard story. I think that rasping, and it's all about getting the saw action that's going through the woods. So I don't know how it's going to come out now, but it's. So I don't know if that actually came out or anything, but
It was great.
Yeah.
No, it is, and it was also super important in the book to get the rasp right. And I think, thank you, because I'm not entirely sure we would have got it without you. But yeah, I think my biggest thing that I want to just say to everyone involved is these are the moments where we can bring story to life and really use story to make an impact. And I think Libo, I really do believe, can live in multiple mediums. And I mean, I know we've already started dreaming up how the story can come to life in theatre and all the places. But I really want to honor just this process. It's been so fantastic. And I think working with Panthera again, what I loved about the approach was that let's give this a go, let's get the impact, see how it works, and then we can go and see if we need to workshop it. And it was the same with the Furs for Life. It was very much, I think in today's world, it's like get it right. And if you don't get it right straight away, it's done. And I what I've valued so much about Panthera is they really are putting in the work to make meaningful impact, and the heart is really there. So I am going to actually open up. Do we have any questions from the audience? Love it. Christy's in, such gorgeous illustrations. Oh, I love that. Mdu's voice made the book come to life. Oh, you're going very fast. Such fun. Like, I need to read fast here. Such fun to watch and listen with Mary Ann's niece and nephew. Congratulations, everyone. Love it. Oh, congratulations. Thank you, Timbela, on the launch of this amazing book. Oh, it's so lovely to have such a beautiful story and so educational too. I enjoyed it as an adult and never knew anything about heritage furs. The illustrations are absolutely stunning. Thank you. Yeah, such really nice. I mean, not many questions. A lot of, I won't turn these down. These are fantastic. So thank you. Yeah, but before I ramble too much, because I definitely am way too passionate about this book, we're going to just play a little clip around the actual heritage furs that this book was inspired by, and then we'll see if there are any further questions from there, and yeah, go for it.
Wildcats are apex hunters. If we lose them, the whole system becomes imbalanced.
Wildcats are under pressure because of the demand for their skins. And for the most part, it's to be used as attire in ceremonial events.
Kodwa kubaleka okukhulu okusetshenzisweni kwesikhumba sengwe kungenxa yamandla ampantaniswa nengwe. Ngakho uma sisuke sigida noma sivunule sisebenzisa lelo bala sisuke sifuna ukubonisa lawo mandla engwe.
With wildlife crime being a complex issue, you need multifaceted approach. One of the ways that we do that is through demand reduction work, which is central to the First for Life program.
UPanthera ephethe umgqiqo ukuthi kunesidingo sokuthi kuvikelwe ingwe ngoba ziyancipha ngenxa yokuthi ziyazingelwa zibulawa abantu bedinga isikhumba.
So we started to work with the Shembe Church to come up with a solution.
We started to investigate what fabric or what furs that will be best suitable. It was quite an exercise.
No one had created this size of a repeat pattern, which was accurately pulled off of real leopard skins, ever before.
But eventually we got to what we wanted.
First for Life creates realistic synthetic cat furs at an affordable price, reducing the demand in wild cat skins. These furs now, we've coined the term heritage furs.
Ukuba indwangu kwawo usiza ekuthenini awasheshe ukuguga futhi asebenziseka noma ngabe izulu net ebekuyinkinga enkulu kulaba abasebenzisa isikhumba sengwe yangempela futhi asemthethweni awafani nesikhumba lesi sengwe.
As of 2025, First for Life has distributed 19,500 amambata to the Shembe religion. 50% of all the followers dance in the Mgidi are wearing our heritage furs.
Panthera really thought out of the box with this program, and there's potential scope to expand it in a number of other countries.
We are in the great ceremony of the Kwamboka, the migration which takes the Ritunga from the flooded area to the dry area. Warriors like paddlers, they come to evacuate him, so they assimilate like an animal in the jungle.
Leopards, animal skins. That is part of the attire for the Kwamboka ceremony.
The Kwamboka ceremony is attracting more and more paddlers. We said, no, this can't go on. With the dwindling number of leopards, the best is to find an alternative.
So the senior chief in Yambayeta contacted Panthera to see whether a similar program could be unrolled in Zambia with the Lozi people.
We've created a heritage fur lepatello, which is a cat skin design, as well as a piece of lion mane on their head.
For any Lozi man who is grown up to grow up without paddling in the boat, it's like his adulthood is not complete.
I couldn't even realize that they were not true, because the way they were looking.
We distributed 1,350 fur garments. We are having over 90% of the paddlers now wearing heritage furs.
Society have accepted. The leadership have accepted, so they have come into a common goal.
We want to conserve cultural and religious gatherings whilst conserving wildlife.
It will help us really not to make demands on the wildlife, the cat species. It will help strengthen our traditions and customs.
If we still killing this cat, we may lose everything.
Wild animals are part of our culture. So when they get extincted, then it means that our culture will definitely die.
The surveys that we conduct also allow us to improve on our heritage furs, to understand what we can change in the future to increase the adoption rate. We import the raw materials into user group country so that we can make those garments as close to the user group as possible. Part of the project is to educate and uplift people within the supply chain of real leopard skins, either training them from scratch or getting tailors who are currently using real leopard skins to be able to tailor our heritage furs.
It changed my life. I can take my children at school, take care of them because of the heritage guardian.
Kumina kungaphezulu kokuba umsebenzi kuba ingxenye yale project engaka ngoba lento ayigcinda izohamba ibanga elide izukulwane ziyoyazi.
With behavioral change campaigns, we work with the user groups to create imagery and messaging. This could be billboards, gazebos, children's books, songs on the radio, and radio interviews. First for Life currently has several user groups. In South Africa, we work with the Shembis and the African Congregational Church. In Zambia, we have the Lozi and the Ngoni tribes. For the Ngoni, we've supplied the king and chiefs with the same as what the Shembi wear. First for Life's success is every single fur that is sold, we are reducing the demand on real leopard skins.
And we hope this can actually spread like wildfire.
One thing that we've come to accept globally, a culture that does not change, is doomed to die.
We are now getting reports that lions, leopards, and so forth are now being sighted because there's now less hunting.
It has to be protected, otherwise we will lose the royalty and their importance in the absence of the leopard skin. We will also lose on the part of the heritage in the entire Africa.
Yeah, I feel like I've watched that 10 million times and I get goosebumps every time.
Very moving, beautiful.
Yeah. So what an honor to be a part of this. And yeah, just as the closing note, a way that you can support what they're doing and just the impact of this project is purchase this book. The more books sold, we get the opportunity to make more impact. And I think sharing with friends and family about the book itself, and you can find all of our books in national. We just distribute nationally. You can also find our books on our website. And if you're in Cape Town, we are currently set up at the South Market in Constantia, where you can go and get a book if you're wanting to get it in time for Christmas. But yeah, I will provide. You can go to our website www.imaginaryhouse.com and type in Libo and the Leopard and purchase the book there. And you can also, how cool is that? Scan the QR code or click on the QR code up there. And yeah, I really want to just emphasize that story has the power to make an impact, and the more that we use story with children, the more that they build empathy, they ask questions, and they get to just learn about culture and learn about how they can make an impact. And kids are far wiser than we realize. I know any kids listening right now, you are super smart, and I learn so much from kids on the daily. I've got a toddler, including I learn patience. But seriously, I'm so grateful for everyone joining today. And please, just if you still have questions, you'll be able to keep commenting. But thank you to everyone on this call. I know we're missing quite a few people, and just a quick shout out. There's Mother City AV that helped with the recording. Vian, I know that there's a bunch of sponsors that made this come to life. If you could maybe just quickly mention them, because they are super important, because they made it possible that we could do this.
Yeah, thank you. I think there's just truly so many people that were involved in this in some way or another. So it's hard to know who everyone is and who to give thanks for is. I don't want to skip anyone out, but yeah, for certainly we are incredibly thankful for the generosity and leadership of our donors, our sponsors, which includes the UK government's Illegal Wildlife Trade Challenge Fund, Cartier for Nature, and the Royal Commission of Lula. And then, of course, the partnerships that we have with the Barochi Royal Establishment, with the local communities. We're just incredibly thankful. That's all needed to bring an effort like this together.
Yeah, no, totally. And we're really excited to see this book out in the world. So I'm not going to keep you any longer, but thank you for joining, everyone, and have a lovely rest of day and festive season.